right, team on three, team on three. 1, 2, 3. Here we go.
A very joyous celebration out at Springville last week as the Lincoln Golden Bears picked up their second win in the last 3 weeks against Springville. Coach Brad Wallace joins me here on the Lincoln Playbook. First of all, Coach, talk about the way this team played. We'll get into all the details in a little bit, but 37 points against a very good team.
Well, we like we said about three weeks ago, this is our new season. We've been playing very well since probably the Montford week, and our kids have really bought into what we're trying to do, and we've actually narrowed down a lot of stuff that we do. Instead of being so complex, our stuff's very simple, and our kids are able to play faster, and it seems to be helping us out a tremendous amount. And that was something that we did coaching-wise, and throwing it back on the kids, they've really come to work, and they've really bought into what we're trying to do, and trying to get into this second season and seeing where we can wind up toward the end of the season.
Talk about the way this team is playing. They're certainly playing really hard, and they've gotten to a point where they scored 30 points in that first half, and they're playing really hard, really fast, and they're like a new determined team, like you were talking about with that new mindset.
They are, and a lot of key performers. Devontae Whiteside has been one of our guys that stepped up toward the end of the season. Zay Caldwell, I mean, he's had 3 phenomenal ball games back to back, and I mean, you just wait till Friday to see what he's going to do next,
right? Because
he's so athletic, and we've got 2 great tailbacks, L.J. Carmichael and Montrell Johnson, that are really bringing a lot of rushing yards for us, and our offensive line stepped up, and I mean, you just could go on, and I mean, our teams, it's like we're gelling toward the end of the season, right when it needs to, and I'm just can't wait till this next Friday to get started. I mean, next Thursday to get started. It's Thursday this week.
Absolutely. We'll talk about that and how that alters preparation in a little bit. I know you want to always stay in the now, in the present, but think back to last year just for a second when the team was really gelling there, I guess like week 5 to week 10. Does this team right now kind of resemble that team?
Well, the thing about them, the last year's team, they played very good all the way up until that mid, and we started out with rough spots, and I mean, you probably take 10 plays out of the first part of the season, and you change our record.
Exactly.
And and it's hard to believe, but as a coach, you sit back and you watch things like that, and that's stuff that you bring to them on team meeting days, and make them understand, hey, you're not a bad football team.
Right.
We just got to cut down on these mistakes at these times, and we'll be a lot better. And that's what we've done. The turnovers, and knock on wood, the turnovers have went away for the last few weeks, and we've really started holding on to the football, and defensively we're playing sound defense right now, and bend but don't break, and we don't give up the big play.
Absolutely. A huge win at Springville. Really does a lot to put them back into the playoff picture. We'll dive into all that. We'll have highlights here on the Lincoln Playbook in just a bit. Coming up next, we'll have our first half highlights, but first we want to thank one of our fine sponsors from Luxury Auto Parts. Go visit Lee McLean and the folks online or at their parts yard, luxuryautoparts.com or insurancedirectautos.com. You can give them a call at 205-763-1084 or 1-888-589-PARTS. We are back with more of the Playbook after the break. We're back with the Lincoln Playbook. First half highlights of Lincoln's road game at Springville. Coach, talk about some of the things you want to see in the first half.
I just wanted to start off fast and play physical right at the beginning, and we did that. And our offense really shined at the beginning. We come up with big points right at the beginning of the game. It was just a few seconds taken off the clock.
And Whiteside here has just been absolutely huge. Really.
Oh, he has. He's been a turnaround for our season, especially offensively. He's given us another key that people have to key on during ball games, and it's kind of hard to cover him up, especially with our zone read going on in the middle.
Talk about the way this first half played out in relation to the way the second half played out against Mortimer Jordan. It's obviously a tough loss, but you came out really big in this first half and really made your mark.
Well, that was one of the keys that I was worried about this week is coming off that hard loss the week before. How are our kids going to come out to this ball game? And they came out hard and fast, and they did everything I've asked them to do all week long. And so we're getting better as a football team. We just got to keep making those drastic steps.
Absolutely. LJ Carmichael is another big guy that's really stepped up here late in the season.
I mean, a guy that's 6'2", 190, I mean, you've got to give him the ball and get it in his hands. We had a mishap right here on a quarterback sneak. We a mishap with a snap. We'll get that corrected this week during our practices.
And then it was a short field for them, and they have a really good offense too. You don't want to take anything away from them.
That's the thing that happened when we gave up points this week is we gave them the short field, and we just can't do that, especially in big time ball games later on in the season.
Right, and that's got to be really, really strong for your offense and really for your defense, knowing that few teams will drive 60-plus yards on us, but we can't give up the short field.
That's it, and that's one thing that we've been preaching for probably the last 2-3 weeks, especially like against Mortimer Jordan and Montford, is you can't give them that short field. You can't give them that easy access to the end zone. You got to make them drive, make them get tired as they're coming down the field.
Absolutely. And then you got just a huge play here on defense with a big interception.
Yes, sir. I mean, LJ Carmichael, he does a great job right here and picks the ball off, and he's actually got 2 more in this ball game that are really close, and I know he was frustrated at the ball games like, Coach, I could have got 2 more, but it's okay, and or at least we got ourselves in a predicament to win the ball game.
Right, and it seemed like to me after the fumble and they scored a quick touchdown, you guys got a turnover and scored a quick touchdown. Is that one of those big things that you want to make sure you capitalize on every time you get the ball?
Every time that something big happens, we want to at least put it in the end zone or get a field goal out of it. I mean, points are you've always got to be scoring every time somebody gives something back to you. So if you don't take advantage of those times, then you'll get behind on the sticks.
Absolutely, and you have a really good field goal kicker, and he was able to create some separation in that lead.
Yeah, Nick Pope, I mean, he's done a great job for us this year. We had him as a 7th grader a couple years ago, and he actually came in and helped us out when Mason got hurt last 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And but he's back with us again as a 9th grader, and he's doing a great job for us.
Talk about some of the things that Springville tried to do on offense, and for those of the people who don't know what Springville is like on offense.
Well, Springville, they're multi. They've got a wing tee set, and then they also get in the gun and they run a little bit of the wing tee stuff out of the gun, kind of like what we do. They do a little bit of the power read, but not near as much as we do, because I mean everything that we come off of, we've got some kind of read or some kind of pass that we've got 3 options that we can do on each play.
Right.
And that's the thing about our offense is so multi, and their offense is the same way.
Absolutely. And I think another good thing for you guys, especially in this game, was every time they scored, you answer with a touchdown. That's
it. And I mean, we bounced back. We had a tremendous amount of energy, especially offensively. Dante Rivers scoring right there, and he's another one of the backs. So, I mean, we're starting to get more and more depth on our offensive side of the ball and on our defensive side of the ball through work throughout the year.
Absolutely. When you're up 30 to 13 in the half, what's the message at halftime? I know that you've been in these positions before. Is it more just, hey guys, what we're doing is working? Is it let's protect the league? Like what's the mindset there?
Well, we did have to go in and make some adjustments. They were hurting us a little bit with their power run game, and so we had to make some adjustments on that. And offensively, we just had to shore some things up. Just under, I know especially I took the offensive line that they were doing a little bit more slanting than I thought they would against us. So we had to make some adjustments there. But other than that, I mean, our guys handled it well, and we came out in the second half and did a real good job of just maintaining, and that's basically what I wanted to do. I wanted to work on our run game in the second half,
right,
and try to get our guys to where we can use that later on in the season.
From everything you scouted at the beginning of the week to what you saw in the first half Friday night, was Springville about the same?
Yeah, they were, and like I said earlier, the thing that scared me the most is we were playing them at home. It was senior night, and every ball game that I watched on their home field, I mean, they play so hard.
Right.
And they brought a lot of enthusiasm to the game, and that was one of my main concerns going into that ball game was when you watch tape on them, every time they were at home, they just played so hard. And we just had to be able to counteract all that energy.
Absolutely, and you certainly did. Picked up a 37-20 win. We'll show you the way this one finished out over in Springville. That was the first half, 30-13. In the second half, more highlights. But first, take a listen to the marching band's performance on Friday night. Lincoln held a 30-13 lead after the first half. Coach, second half, we talked about some of the adjustments that you guys wanted to make, and you really wanted to run the football, kind of take the air out of the ball.
We did. We just kind of wanted to melt the clock. We knew we had a good lead, and we just wanted to see if we could get our power run game started and be able to use our backs a little bit more. Zay's got has a little tweak right now in his hamstring, so we wanted to take a little bit of pressure off of him. And just kind of keep him fresh for this next week. Absolutely.
And also at this point in the season, you know, if you do have an ace in the hole, so to speak, you don't want to show it off when you're in a game like this, you know, and do too much passing and stop the clock on incompletions and stuff like that.
That's it. We wanted to run the clock in the second half and just try to see how much we could melt off in the second half. And our guys went down and scored on the first series. That was one of our keys this week, was to try to score when we came out in the second half.
Absolutely, and you also wanted to match their physicality on offense as well, and you're able to do that, especially in the first couple possessions of the third quarter.
That's it. I mean, we matched them up, and another thing that we got to do in this second half too is we got to play a few more people. We got some more linemen in, we got some more skilled guys in. And we wanted to try to get as many guys on the field to be able to see if we could use them in certain spots during football games.
I think it's one of the most underrated things when it comes to high school football is gaining Friday night experience, because you can only do that Friday night. You can't do it during the week. You can't do it during JV games. But when you're in a position like you were in Friday night, you're able to get those guys in.
You're able to get them in and see what it's like underneath the big lights and see what it's like to be in a big time ball game.
Absolutely, and this is one of those big time ball games in a big region game, really, for both teams. And we talked about the interceptions that could have been had. That was one of them.
That was it. We had a missed snap right here. We've got our other lineman in right now, and I mean, you're going to have these kind of things,
sure.
and I just wanted to get those guys in to make sure that they felt like, or knew what it felt like to be in the game, because you never know. They're an ankle twist away from being in a football game.
Exactly. And I think those are some of the great lessons learned, to always be ready. And when we've talked about this guy so many times, and it just always seems to make a big play.
Man, he's a fire plug, and the thing that I like about him is he'll get in a pile and his feet never stop moving. I mean, you'll see the pile start shifting because he's still moving his feet and still driving to get extra yards.
Seems like whenever teams try to go east and west on you, you do a really good job of stopping it, and then they go downfield, and then stuff like this happens.
Yeah, we've got some great team speed, and we've got a guy like Devontae that sits back there, and I mean, he's almost like a sniper. He just comes out of nowhere and he'll pick anything off. But he did a good job Friday night with us, and he's like our quarterback defensively. He sets up our coverages on both sides, because we have split coverage that we do run, and he does such a great job for us right now.
Right, and he's one of the smart players on this football team, lots of smart players, and a really, really good game. And the way that you guys started out and the way you guys finished was really strong, a 17-point win. When you look at the way the last 3 games have gone, the last 12 quarters, I would say, dating back to the Mortimer Jordan game, talk about what you've seen differently from this team since before you guys started that second half run.
Well, I mean, to me, it kind of goes all the way back to the week of Mulford. And I mean, the Mulford game is a lot of emotion. It's a lot. I mean, they think about it all week long. It's usually our best week of practice that we have because it's a rival game. And the thing that I talked about after that ball game, I mean, it's not one of those deals when our team's down, you can't go in there and just beat them on down.
Right.
You take what's good out of the film, and you explain, all right, if this wouldn't have happened this way, this would have happened.
Right.
And so we used that film, and we showed how much emotion, how much they went to practice, how they went to practice, and the next week they did it again.
Right.
And then they've taken it week after week after week, and it's gotten better each week. And this week, I mean, we've got a Sunday practice, and I'm anxious to see how we come out on this one.
We've seen guys like L.J. Carmichael and Zay Caldwell make some plays. I know you have some numbers on them. Talk about just some of the production that they were able to get against Springville, especially in that first half.
Well, Zay Caldwell's 10 for 13 for 204 yards. I mean, 77% on his completion rate. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been like that for about 3 weeks now. He's really stepped up at that position. Montrell Johnson, 16 carries for 88 yards. And Devontae Whiteside had a very, very big night with 5 receptions for 139 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, the playmakers are coming out each week, and that's what I want to see on our field. As I want to see a lot of excitement, a lot of emotion, and go out there and have fun. And if you'll do what you're told on each play, it'll happen. I mean, it'll happen every time.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Good stuff, and it's a good lesson to learn really for this season and moving forward as well. They'll look to put that into practice again coming up next week in another final region game of the season against Moody. We will dive into that coming up in our final segment. But first, we want to thank another fine sponsor, it's the Lincoln Booster Club. If you want to be a part of the Lincoln Booster Club and support the sports at Lincoln High School, you're welcome to attend their meetings. It's every Monday at 6:30 p.m. at First State Bank. Once again, any prospective member is welcome to attend their meetings. We thank them for their support of this football team, Coach Brad Wallace, his staff, and all sports at Lincoln High School. Back with more of the Playbook after the break. Last segment here on the Lincoln Playbook, and we now move forward after the Springville game. It is Moody in Week 9, final region game of the season. Talk about all the elements of it. One of the big things, though, this is a Thursday night football game coming up this week at home.
Yeah, it's going to change the way we do things during the week. I mean, and it's just like these colleges that have games on Thursday. They have practice on Sunday. They go Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then you go play your game on Thursday. It's just going to be a little bit of change for our guys. It's really not going to. All we're going to do is move a day back.
Right.
And I'm going to treat the Sunday like Monday.
Yeah.
And just go from there. But I think our kids will be able to handle it, and I think we'll have a very good practice this week, and the thing about Moody is they're very scary. They nickel and dime you with a pass.
Right.
They've got a great tailback that they can hand the ball to every now and then, but they're going to pass the ball, and their offensive line does a good job of keeping the quarterback protected at all times, and we've just got to stay on our coverage the whole play.
Absolutely. When you digest some of the things as far as the bigger picture when it comes to the playoff situation, it's amazing to think that, after everything that went on the first half of the year and you're playing well the second half of the year, and we'll take a look at the standings, that you guys have a real shot, at getting that 4th spot. We do.
We've got a. I know our record is not where we wanted it, but if things get tweaked a little bit here and there, if we need a little bit of help from some other teams as they're going through the end of the year, we need to win out, and we've got an opportunity to be the 4th seed in the playoff. I mean, out of our region going into the playoffs. So, and I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think our kids are done.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got a lot of fight to them, and they've gotten so much better. I mean, since the beginning of the season all the way till right now, we're a much better football team than we started.
Absolutely. One of the things that has always been surprising and intriguing to me is the fact that all Talladega, or most Talladega County schools, have to deal with the race week. And it's unlike any other challenge I would think that any other school in the United States has to deal with, just because of the fact that, the race is so big in the fall because, from NASCAR's perspective, it's the chase. But then at the same time, you have 100,000 people coming in to watch a big race over the weekend, so you have to move everything to Thursday night. Just talk about what that week is like in Talladega County.
Well, the main thing is, there's so much traffic. It's like Lincoln becomes Birmingham in one week, and there's just so much traffic, and we really don't want our kids on the road during these times, but you have to have school.
Right.
You can't take the whole week off and just get rid of it. And we're still in our season right then. So what we're going to try to do is we'll just have our normal week of practice and preparation. Have that Thursday game, and then on Friday we still have a half a day of school that we have to be in. But traffic builds up so much, and a lot of people don't understand. Probably not the other schools in the county, but especially Lincoln. On Highway 77, there's no passing that road unless you're going one way, and that's going back into the track. And so it's tough to get school buses out on there, and we've got kids that live around the track and that type thing. So, and I can understand that. On Monday morning after the race, I can't even. I come out on 77 and I can't even take a left to get into traffic.
Right.
I have to take about a 15-minute detour to get back around. So, but it's totally different. It's a neat little deal for Lincoln.
Absolutely, and there's a lot of your coaches and your staff, and maybe even teachers at the school that help out with the race. They do a lot of the volunteer work, some of the pay work as well. Just talk about just the way the community helps put this big event together.
Well, they help us out tremendously. They give a lot of our sports will go in and run some of the stands, and a lot of our coaches work at the track, and so they give a lot back to our school. They give a lot back to our community, and it's a great time for our community right at that time.
Absolutely. We always end with this question very quickly. Talk about one thing that you want to see improving from last week heading into this week.
Well, I just want to sharpen things up this week, and we're not going to, and that's a lot of what I told my staff earlier is we don't want to get too testy with what we do.
Right.
We want to make our kids feel comfortable, and what we've been doing is working. We just want to keep getting faster and faster about what we do.
Absolutely. Best of luck, Coach. I know that this is a big week for you guys, short week of preparation. Go join them out at Keith Howard Memorial Stadium this week for the final region game of the season against Moody. We will see you next week and break it all down here on the Lincoln Playbook. God bless.